This is a topic that I really like. It's about Korean military, and because I've done my service, I can talk about it now and how I really felt about it. As you know, all of the South Korean men have to go to the military and serve for at least 18 months. And it still maintains the compulsory military service due to its ongoing security concerns with North Korea. When you go to the Army branch, it's usually 18 months. The Navy is 20 months. Air Force is 21 months. And Marines are also 18 months. And I went to the Army. I went there freshman year in university. I went into this program called Katusa, which is an acronym for Korean Augmentation to the United States Army. So it's like a program where you apply for it. They do like a random shuffle, right? And if you're lucky, then you get selected as one of the Katusas. The benefits are like you train with the US soldiers and have the experience that not many people get to have. You live in the US military installations and train with them, work with them, eat good food, housing accommodations are way better. So yeah, stuff like that. I would say that my experience in the military was life-changing. I mean, when I actually look at it and think about the works that I did and just overall, it's not like I saved the whole world. I wasn't like the hero of the country. I didn't do anything that was like very monumental. I think the time of serving 18 months, it was a time when I could learn more about myself, how to be professional, how to conduct myself out there, and build really good habits, which is like working out. At first, it's not really easy. It's like essentially you're, spending 18 months in there mandatorily. So even if you don't want to go, you kind of still have to go and serve it. In that aspect, most of the Korean men, when they're little, they're kind of aware of it. They're like, oh yeah, one day I'll be going to the military, and it's like a reality that everyone kind of wants to avoid. So the societal norm about going to the military is not as positive because you essentially have to kind of, spend 18 months of your time somewhere else. But for me, I think military experience was really good because once you're in there, you have a lot of time. So you think a lot and you can spend time doing a lot of self-improvements, read a lot of books, go out with a lot of the soldiers that you met in there, learn a lot about the social cues. Just overall, I think you become more composed and collected. I was so clumsy. I didn't really know many social cues, and especially in Korean society, there are a lot of invisible hierarchies when you're in an organization or when you just go somewhere, when you're in a group setting. You kind of feel it. There are social cues that you need to follow, and if you don't, your time being in an organization could be difficult. Because I grew up in Kenya, which is not in Korea, I didn't get to spend that much time with people in here, and I think I was very naive. So I made a lot of mistakes. I think the guys looked at me as more foreign and maybe peculiar compared to the other people that lived all their lives in Korea. Because I made a lot of mistakes, I had a lot of moments where I felt like I did everything wrong. I didn't do anything right. Like when you're in the office or when you're working, I wasn't like the most volunteering person because I didn't want to go through all the struggle, right? But a lot of the guys who came before me, they all experienced difficulties in a way that if they had a lower rank, they were more voluntary in everything that they did. So yeah, discipline is a big thing. You get disciplined a lot in there. You get to learn more about the reason why you're fighting for the country. Some people would call that brainwashing, but I think it was very like eye-opening to me in a way because I never really understood why I had to do the things that I did and what was the point? What was the point of making everyone just come to the military and do the same thing? But once you're in there, you kind of adapt to it. You're not as resistant anymore because there's not much difference that you can make. You get used to it. You get used to the fact that you need to do seemingly pointless things, pointless tasks every day. You have to go to those physical training every morning, PT session. You wake up at 5:40 or 5:30 and then you get there at 6. You do the roll call and all the code of conduct that you do before you go to bed. You do the charge quarters where you stay up 24 hours. It's all those things that you don't really want to do, but you kind of get used to it and you just do it because that's how it is. That's how the military flows. That's how it continues. You kind of learn how to be more patient and you become more mature because you understand the fact that complaining and just kind of resisting isn't always the right answer. So for the bigger picture, I think acting collectively and acting in accordance to kind of like a rule that keeps the maintenance and the order, you kind of follow that. But it doesn't really mean that you lose your critical thinking skills. It's more like you get to deal with it better. You don't really overreact to a lot of things. You kind of get this like sense of humor in a way that you take everything not seriously. For me, what was fun about military was like those small moments that I had when I was doing like an exercise. It's like a huge military drill that you do. You do a lot of long shifts, do a lot of tiring jobs. The best part is that you meet a lot of people. You get to meet so many people from different backgrounds that gather in this one command that you work together to accomplish the mission. You get to share your story with them. You trade flags and different patches that you collect. And if you do a good job, at the end of the exercise, you get an award from the generals and maybe a coin. So it was such a cool experience for me because I really love disciplinary aspect of it. So you build friendships and memories. That I think was like the best part in the military for me. But I'm also very lucky in a way because I was selected as a Katusa, which enabled me to experience way more than other soldiers could experience. Before I went to the military, I was such a naive and young kid. Even then, I thought I knew a lot of the things in life. But when I went through the boot camp, got assigned to a different unit, met new people, made a lot of memories, did a lot of exercises, achieved many things. That whole experience, even though it was 18 months, that experience really expanded my horizons. I became more open-minded. I don't know, it's like there's like this camaraderie that you get by just kind of seeing people and knowing the fact that they also went to the military. You're like, oh, you also went through that time. It's like a big phase in our lives. For Korean men, it's a time of reflection. Even after coming out of the military, some people are still not really changed. I think that's also because it depends on how you spend your military time. If you don't want to do anything and kind of just stick to your habit and just want to complain every time, I don't think there's going to be much growth there. But it's about the attitude. If you see military more positively, try to seek ways where you can potentially gain so many things and how you can experience new things, then it's a time that can change your whole life. Being in the military, you feel a little bit stagnant because you're just kind of staying in one spot. Because if you have a phone and you're using it in the military, you can see a lot of people moving on with their lives, and you get this sense that even without you, the world is keep moving. You going to the military did not change a lot of people's lives. It's a weird feeling because you just don't want to admit it, but life just moves on. People do things, people achieve things. Some people graduate. You lose some friends by not keeping in touch. You say goodbye to many people. I think for Korean men, it's a time where you shed a lot of tears, work hard. It's like the only moment in your life where you can actually try to make those moments count. That's what I try to do. And that's why when I look back on my military years, I absolutely love it. I even miss it sometimes. Like, it was such a simple time. I didn't really have to worry about all these life problems when I was in there. But it's also a really sensitive topic because if you haven't been to the military and you kind of talk about it very lightly, some people might find that offensive because they'll be like, you don't know the struggle that I went through, so how are you gonna speak on my behalf? So yeah, it really helped me to grow and be more calm and more observant. It really depends on how you see it or how you perceive it, how you approach it. But for me, it was everything. That's something that had a huge impact in my life. So this is Seoul, South Korea. Pretty beautiful.